Welcome to quick snap review of the basic fundamentals of chemistry. In today's session we're going to be looking at electronic structure, how you draw the electronic structure and the rulings for them. Now in the last session we looked at the atomic structure, which we gave you the three subatomic particles, the protons, electrons and neutrons. So let's just have a quick review how to work them for an element. So in lithium you have 7 as the atomic mass and 3 as the atomic number. So to work out the PEN for this, so we know the atomic number is equal to the proton number, which is also equal to the electron number. So if you have 3 protons, you have 3 electrons. Then to work out the neutron number, it's the atomic mass minus the atomic number, 7 minus 3, which will give you 4. Now in this session we're only focusing on the electrons. Okay, so you remember the electronic structure, the atomic structure. We have the nucleus. In the nucleus you have the protons and neutrons, and on the energy levels you have the electrons. Okay, so here is the rule now to the electronic structure. On the first shell you can have a maximum of 8. Maximum of 2, second shell maximum of 8, third shell maximum of 8 as well. We're only focusing on the first 20 elements of the periodic table because at GCSE you won't go beyond this. At A level, however, this changes because there are 3 orbitals. So you've got the S, P and D orbital, which changes this. So, which we'll focus on another video on the at an A-level standard for that. But right now we're just focusing on GCSE. And for GCSE, all you need to know is that the first shell has 2, second shell, the maximum of electrons you can fit on is 8, and the third is 8. Okay, so we're going to start with lithium. So we're going to represent the center, the nucleus, with lithium, and then we're going to draw the shell. Now the first shell is the lowest shell, so you always draw the first shell first, and we know that lithium has 3 electrons. So on the first shell we're going to put 2, 1, 2. Now the electrons, you can represent them as crosses or dots. I prefer to put crosses. And so now we've got 2, we need 1 more, so we go on to our second shell, and that is, and we put 1. There is your 3 electrons. Now you'll hear the word electronic configuration. The electronic configuration for lithium is, on the first shell there are 2, and on the second shell there are 1. The configuration tells you the number of shells it has and the number of electrons in each shell. So on the first shell you've got 2, second shell you have got 1. I'm going to do another one. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to do is sodium. Now, we know sodium has 23 as the atomic mass and 11 as the atomic number. So the PEN for this, it has 11 protons, therefore it will have 11 electrons, and the neutrons is 23 minus 11, that will give you 12. Okay, and for this session we're only interested in the electrons, so we now need 11 electrons for sodium. So we are going to put sodium in the center, represented by its symbol. So that is the center. So on the first shell we said we can have a maximum of 2, 1, 2, and then now we need the second shell, and we said the maximum we can have is 8. We need 11, so we've got 2 already. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we have 10. Now we need a third shell. Okay, and there's our 11th. So if we do the electron configuration, we've got 2 on the first shell, 8 on the second shell, and 1 on the third shell. So it has 3 shells with 2 electrons on the first, 8 on the second, and 1 on the third. So a total of 11 electrons for sodium atom. Now, I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to show you lithium and sodium again. So over here you've got lithium. Okay. One, two, and then one. Then I'm going to show you sodium. Two on the first shell, maximum 8 on the second. And now we need a third shell. And then the configuration is 2 and a 1, 2, 8, 1. Okay, if you look at this, you can see that lithium and sodium are both in group 1. Lithium is the first in group 1. If you go down the group, you've got sodium. And you can see a pattern there in terms of the periodic table and how it's structured. So all group 1 elements all have 1 electron on the outer shell. Okay, and as that happens, as you go down, the atomic radius increases. Okay, so that's the pattern. So for example, group 7 will have 7 electrons on the outer shell. Group 6, you've got oxygen on there and you've got sulfur there. So both of them will have 6 electrons on the outer shell. In group 5, you've got nitrogen and you've got phosphorus. So they will both have 5 electrons on the outer shell. So these are the patterns in terms of understanding and trying to relate it to the periodic table, is that group 1 has 1 electron on the outer shell, group 2 has 2 electrons on the outer shell, and so on. So I'm going to show you one more, calcium. Okay, calcium has 20 electrons. So 1, 2 on the first shell, maximum 8 on the second shell. If you notice that I'm drawing my electrons in pairs, I would advise you to draw them in pairs so it's a bit more neater and you can see them clearly. Also, I'll explain this a little bit more when we come on to bonding. Why am I showing these in pairs? So now moving on to our third shell. So we've got 10 in total and we need 20. So we'll need 8 on the third shell. That will take us to 18. Then we need a fourth shell with 2 more. So here we go. The electronic configuration is 2, 8, 8, and 2. So that's the most difficult one in terms of the number of electrons that you will do at GCSE. They won't ask you any further ones to do. So you can see that it has 2 electrons on the outer shell, therefore it belongs in group 2. And there are 4 shells. So on the first shell there are 2 electrons, 8 electrons on the second and the third, and 2 electrons on the fourth. I would like you to have a go at the electronic structures and doing the configuration for the first 20 elements on the periodic table. That's from hydrogen all the way to calcium. I've done 3 with you. See if you can do them on your own and check them. Thank you.